You know, both J.D. DeLay and Wes Watson, you know what they have in common? J.D.'s better at hiding it, but they both like to run their mouth. And they both like to seem larger than life and forget that they're flesh and blood human beings, just like the rest of us. They're not very humble people. J.D. is good at pretending to be humble, but when you see how he spoke to me the other day, you see that this man walked himself into a trap that he wasn't even invited into. You know, this man just walked himself into a trap, you know. I'd like to think that somebody that's done as much time as JD's done would know better. There's all types of people that don't like people like me. There's all types of people that have ideologies that I find offensive. You don't see me walking around town with a shirt that says punch a Hebrew Israelite, right? You don't see me walking around town with a shirt that says punch a communist. You don't see me walking around town with a shirt that says punch a blood or punch a crip or punch anything. I don't walk around town with shirts disrespecting groups of people that I'm not even going through it with. You understand? And nobody that is intelligent, that has survived in prison for a long time, actually done time at places like the administrative management unit, like I have. I didn't do time at a little work camp, okay? I did time at a place where people refused to do work. I did time at a place where people went on hunger strike. I did time at a place where the warden got spit on. That's where I did time. And let me tell you something else. A lot of the biggest, toughest, baddest people in prison, they don't get out and make YouTube videos when they get out because they don't know how to. The cold hard truth is the biggest, toughest, strongest people in prison are not the types of people that are going to get out and thrive on YouTube. They're not going to know much about search engine optimization. They're not going to know much about making thumbnails. They're not going to know much about social media marketing strategies. And to be honest, JD doesn't even know much about this, because if he knew anything about what he was doing, he would realize that a major target demographic is the woodpile. Those white inmates that have been to prison that stuck together for survival. And he's spitting in the face of those people. And he's doing it as a white person that was part of an organization that was tied to the Aryan Brotherhood, European kindred. And he did time with Unforgivens. JD is the type of person to pull up on you on the yard and be like, hey brother, let me get a cup of coffee. And then he'll get out and make a YouTube channel and wear a shirt that says punch a Nazi. And so why am I bringing this up? I know you guys think that I'm beating a dead horse with this JD thing. JD is putting on a pump fake. He's not who he says he is. Okay? And he made a video admitting that he's not who he says he is. And the comment section roared. Many of the people roared on my behalf. And he deleted the video because the comment section really wasn't going his way on that. So he just deleted the entire video. And I deleted the video about him because I was afraid that his little fanboys are going to flag my video. But JD, I'm not going to say he's a total fraud, but he's doing a lot of pump faking. You know what I mean? But it's not as bad as Wes Watson. But it's important to remember that we're all flesh and blood human beings. And it was a very poor tactical decision for JD to wear a shirt that says punch a Nazi. For one, it's a left-wing Antifa slogan. And as somebody trying to position themselves as a right-wing culture warrior, it's just dumb for two, you have no idea who you've offended. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even realize that there's white guys out here that train every single weekend and do paramilitary training. He doesn't even realize that Signal and Discord are blowing up right now talking about what's this JD asshole doing wearing a Punch a Nazi t-shirt when he got protection from Nazis while he was in prison. It's not a good look, JD. It's not. You're the last person that should be wearing that, right? You got protection from Nazis in prison. And so I'm just making this video about respect. Because respect, I have respect for everybody. I am not invincible. There are dangerous people out there that could kill me. Am I more dangerous than the average person? Absolutely. 100%. I have skills that have kept me alive. I'm not somebody you want to underestimate. And the fact that I'm alive is proof of that. Okay? The fact that I'm alive right now is proof that I'm not somebody you want to underestimate. That being said, I'm not fucking invincible. I don't go around offending people needlessly. That's not my style. That was my style when I was younger. Okay? But I'm 30 years old now. And JD, I don't know how old you are, but I think you're around the same age as me. You're in your 30s or late 30s. You might be older than me. You know better. You know better. Okay? And so, I just want to tell everybody, respect is a currency. Violence is also a currency. But we should avoid violence by just showing each other some respect. We can resolve issues without the use of violence. And human beings should resolve more issues without the use of violence. But you need to be very careful who your leaders are. You need to be very careful who you let influence you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to let some guy that did a bunch of push-ups at a work camp and got some pretty tattoos, you're going to let that guy make you think he's somebody. And then your icon, your idol, is going to fall because he's a flesh and blood man just like the rest of us. I think JD is going to make it. I don't think he's going to die, but he's offended some very powerful people. He's offended some very well-armed people, very well-equipped people. I think they're going to let it slide, but I don't know. There's 10 different organizations out here. You got a lot of people looking at JD right now, saying, oh, you want to punch us, huh? I'm just saying, JD has gotten some attention that he doesn't want. And this is right after he had a little powwow with the state's attorney's office. It's not a good look for a guy whose main audience is a bunch of ex-convicts and shit. It's not a good look, bro. It's not a good look. But I think he'll recover from it, you know? What I will say is this. Continue to watch JD. I'm going to continue to watch him. Just know he is entertainment. He is entertainment. I wouldn't take any serious life advice from this man. And I'm not going to my videos aren't going to blow up like his, because I don't tell people what they want to hear. As a matter of fact, my videos tend to offend a lot of people, but it's for the right reasons. It's me trying to get people to challenge their preconceived notions. And you'll notice that even though I say things that are offensive, I'm very, very respectful about how I go about saying them. And I make sure to be clear that this is only my opinion. And I don't needlessly go around offending people for no reason. And I tried to build alliances. I try to build bridges instead of making enemies. That's why I've been around for as long as I have. And with the will of the gods, I may have some years left. Any person out there that may be tempted to say disrespectful things about different whole groups of people, just know you may not know who you're offending. Especially for somebody like JD, who has a big following. It's one thing if a normal, everyday, average Joe wears a shirt that says "Punch a Nazi." It's another thing when an influencer does it. Especially an influencer that makes ex-prison content And a lot of his own audience is the woodpile who would be offended by this. He's asking for trouble doing it. Likewise, be very careful. I don't care who you are in the world, what you're doing. Be very careful about offending your opposition, even if you disagree with them. You have to think, what is the tactical value of doing it? I know that some people, I have a pretty surprising audience. I know some of you out there watching my videos are probably gang members and shit like that. Be very careful about offending your enemies needlessly. Why don't you learn from them instead? This is something that, with all the years of incarceration that JD's had, he seems to have not heeded this simple lesson. And so I definitely call into question just how street smart this man really is doing things like this. Because let's say that he really does hate Nazis and he's really living like that. The last thing you want to do is wear a shirt that says punch a Nazi. Why would you want the Nazi to see it coming? So again, you're doing this for attention, JD, and you've gotten attention. It wasn't the type of attention you were looking for. It's kind of like that situation where the Geico commercial was just a joke, so easy a caveman could do it. And JD found out cavemen are still around. You went to talking shit saying, so easy a caveman could do it, and now you figured out that there really are cavemen still around. You ain't just joking about an abstract group of people. And I know the Geico commercial is a joke, but it has a very real life lesson in it. Be careful about offending the wrong people. And that doesn't mean be a pussy. That doesn't mean don't speak your mind. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Needlessly offending people is not the warrior code. Don't insult my people if I haven't insulted your people. That's the convict code. That's the code of life. That's the warrior's code. And if we do go to war because we can't resolve our issues peacefully, it's not personal. Unless you make it personal. Every single person is only doing what's in their best interest to survive. Every living thing on this planet is just doing what's in its best interest for survival. The lion does not have a personal grudge against the zebra. He's just fucking hungry. And so respecting other people, even if you disagree with them, even if you go to war with them, even if you fight them, you need to show people respect. And this is something that Wes Watson's not teaching people. This is something J.D. DeLay is not really teaching people. This is something that fucking Andrew Tate is not really teaching people. These people run their mouths. And they're tough, but they're not invincible. And they will fall because they think they know everything. They're not humble. Even if they may act a little humble sometimes, JD's got this humility act. But it's an act. And the mask has fallen a couple times. Be very careful who you let be your leader. Speaking specifically to the young men out there. Be very careful who you allow to be your leader. I'm not saying you should let me be your leader either. Take what I say, agree with it, disagree with it, form your own opinion. But it's your responsibility as a man. Be respectful to others. Be respectful to yourself. Be a warrior. Jordan Jareb, signing off.